With my Ray William Johnson video, in my poor memory and incredible stupidity, I forgot about another big aspect of one of Ray's creations. Your Favourite Martian was Ray's second attempt at music, but this band also had another purpose, an animated show detailing the events of the four members of the band on the channel Animonster, that Ray may have owned or just been a big part of. It doesn't seem very clear. The four members of this band actually have names, with them being Ray, Puff Puff, DJ, Axel, and Benatar. Now, I could have done what I did in my previous video and just detail some of the events with this animated series. However, in my poor judgment, and as a sort of punishment for failing to remember to add this into the video, I decided to fully watch the series, allowing me to give somewhat of a synopsis and review on it. So, without further ado, I present my summary and review of all 11 episodes of Your Favourite Martian, the series. The first episode of this series, Douchebag, follows Puff, or as I will call him from now on, Ray, as it is just Ray. Anyway, Ray approaches a woman who he tries to seduce, with him getting beat up as a result. Ray then gets help from the douchebag from Mr. Douchebag, who turns him into a douche, which is a success and allows Ray to get payback. However, Ray loses his talent because he has become a douche. In order to remedy this, he has to read Harry Potter. This episode really isn't great, not being very funny nor interesting. However, to give a spoiler, it is one of the better episodes of the series. The second episode is named Die for Rock and Roll, where, after talking about Elvis becoming more famous after his death, they conclude one of them needs to die to raise their popularity, although none of them are actually willing to die. They enlist the help of an old musician with the help of Ray's grandma. However, he doesn't seem close to dying, with him being revitalized by playing. They then attempt to murder him through pyrotechnics, although this fails, and he leaves the band, becoming far more popular than them. Fun fact, I watched these episodes in order, and in my notes I wrote, "This episode is nothing." However, now that I've watched them all, this again is one of the better episodes. The third episode is named Zombillies, where the bus breaks down and they are attacked by zombie hillbillies, which are fended off by Benatar, who, if I actually ever need to mention again, will be called British Ray from now on, as he plays a bad song. This occurs after Ray tries to be funny and makes jokes with the Zombillies, an effort which fails. Now, the main problem with this episode is that it's really not funny. There is no point of the jokes other than characterization, but they could at least have been somewhat funny. With how I've spoke about this episode and how unfunny and boring it is, you may think it might be the worst of the series. However, this honour goes to Episode 4, Bad Seed, which sees Tig, the character from the YFM song Tig Old Bitties, drop off her niece Tara with the band, with her wanting to learn stuff about music. Tara then steals the bus, getting some burgers, and then when Tig returns, Tara shreds on a guitar. This episode offers absolutely nothing. There's not even any jokes I can really recall. Nothing happens, nobody learns anything, nobody is punished. The only thing it does is introduce Tig, who barely even shows up in the episode anyway. Episode 5, Number 1 Fan, sees Wilton, YFM's biggest and only fan, spend the day with Ray, as everyone else is too scared to. After thinking Wilton is going to suffocate him with a pillow, Ray tases him in the balls, although it turns out the pillow is a gift, not a weapon. Ray then gets a tattoo of Wilton on his chest as an apology. Other than that, there is essentially nothing else to say about this episode. It's just average, not aggressively bad, or dull. In episode 6, Gia/GPS, the band gets a GPS called Gia. The band wants to get to a strip club and uses Gia to get there. However, as the GPS is a woman, it dislikes us and directs them to a retirement home and then takes over the bus. The band resorts to pushing the bus to the strip club, but passes out on the street after pushing it all the way there. From the first 6 episodes, this one is the best. This is in absolutely no way to say that it's anywhere near good. It's just funny due to how bad it is. while the others are just really dull. This episode is also weird due to the fact there is one theme the jokes follow, and that is that it's against women. I don't want to seem like a baby, but it's really, really focused on women. The main problem with this is that it also gets really old really fast, with it being massively overdone, despite the episode being less than 4 minutes, with a couple of jokes even being repeated, somehow, some way. The best episode, in my opinion, is episode 7, Quarantine. In this episode, British Ray gets chickenpox, which leads DJ and Axel to reveal they've never had chickenpox, causing Ray to quarantine them in order to give them it. This works. Out of revenge, the band pretend they are dying as punishment, which goes nowhere, and Ray ends up getting chickenpox too. Yeah, it may be the funniest, but it's still bad. Of course it is. Honestly, I watched it around an hour ago from writing the script, and I don't even remember it, so both you and I will have to accept that this was unintentionally funny for some reason. One last thing I do remember about this episode is that it features the first cutaway gag. Yes, this cutaway gag explains a joke in the scene and also never appears ever again in the series. So, why is it there? It makes no sense. None. Sadly, we're back to the episodes being bad again, with episode 8, Road Rage. In this episode, Ray has road rage and crashes the bus. The band try to prove him wrong by giving him 3 tests to make him angry, including making him sing in a swirl suit, make grandma jokes, and shrinking his hoodie, all of which he fails. The band, other than Ray, decide to get drunk, with the police later coming, requiring the bus to be moved, with only Ray able to. Yep, again, just dull. The 9th episode, Pityfuck, sees Ray go on a date with DJ's cousin, with Ray falling in love with her after they have intercourse. DJ's cousin doesn't care, citing Ray's small penis. For some reason, this episode seems to be titled wrong, because unless I'm being an idiot, Pity doesn't play any part in this at all. This, again, is really dull. The dullness continues with episode 10, Isotank, where Ray gets an isolation tank, which he uses to help him write a song, giving him the inspiration to write Tig Ol' Bitties. That's it. That's the whole episode. The final episode of this series is episode 11, Bus Arrest. The band has been arrested with them doing community service, except for Ray, who is stuck on the bus due to his ankle monitor. However, he has a date with Tig and so has to keep her on the bus. This date doesn't go well, with Tig leaving, making Ray rush out to kiss Tig, thus breaking the terms of the arrest, with DJ stating he's going to prison. This series, without exaggeration, is truly awful. I laughed once throughout the whole series, and I didn't enjoy a single episode. This whole show is such a mess in so many ways. It tries really hard to be edgy, and has jokes that were old even for 2011. The show is also animated quite poorly, even though it has a team working on it. For some reason, it also seems like it has a mashup of different styles, but it doesn't seem to be done in a charming way, so I have no idea why they've done this. It may seem as though episode 11 ended with a cliffhanger, with Ray's relationship with Tig at an impasse and him possibly going to jail. This may be because this was likely going to be the third season of Your Favourite Martian the Show, with it being listed on the Animonster channel's playlist as season 1, so it is very likely that another season was planned. This wouldn't have been a surprising thing to happen with another show on the Animonster channel, Powerhouse, having multiple seasons.
Axel here to tell you what YFM's up to. We're back in the studio recording new shit. Isn't that right, Vincent? That means YFMTS is on a break for a little while, but don't panic. Badass music videos are gonna come out as usual, aren't they, Vincent? But in order to say thanks to our fans for a great first season, we put some free YFM downloads on Animonster's Facebook page. Wallpapers, GIFs, digital, shit. Vincent, click the link below. Can we get hawk shit out of a t-shirt or what?
Despite this, Your Favourite Martian the Show lasted from the 2nd of December 2011 to the 18th of April 2012. With this, I will present to you a a supercut of some of the strangest jokes to appear in this show.
Autoerotic asphyxiation, right?
Gay guys would run away screaming from a monsoon of penises!
Wait, and that's my head crowning out of my mom's huge vagina!
Yes! Awesome! You gotta make me a copy. I have the weirdest boner.
You know them women drivers.
True that.
Women can't drive.
Listen, I told you women can't drive.
Bet Gia is like a real woman. She won't shut the hell up.
Kids are like little porn stars.
I'm not catching a disease on purpose, unless it's elephantitis and it's on my penis. According to WebMD, elephantitis embiggens the area with which it is infected. I want my mom.
I'm your mom now. That's not what I meant.
I can have quick death, pretty plucks.
I haven't been kissed like that since I was an altar boy.
Man, you're just jealous I'm in love with a
Girl, I didn't have to roofie.
I would have sex with my cousin. How can Has playing a free concert be disturbing the peace?
I can't leave. The moment I cross that doorway, the stupid cuff will go off and the cops will come get me and take me to prison and I'll get butt raped. I will be up here with Tig's penis inside me.
Have a moody-ful evening. Burger Barn loves you.
And I can't help but suspect you cut yourself.
Final note, the description of the videos from like 6 onwards specifically say, Ray is not Puff. So it clearly led to confusion, as Puff and Ray are essentially the same. Also, the reception to these videos are very positive, and people are still watching them and enjoying them. How they're doing this is beyond me, but more power to them, I guess.